first time I read Fratelli Tutti, Pope Francis's Encyclical, I missed one of the things that I think now makes it one of my favorite encyclicals. Was that, well, it really is a role-playing game encyclical. It really is, for lack of a better word, a Dungeons and Dragons encyclical. Well, what do I mean? Well, he mentions polyhedrons quite a few times in the encyclical, and who's not playing board games and especially role-playing games is thinking in terms of polyhedrons, like dice and stuff. Nobody, except maybe mathematicians and stuff. So that's the first thing. And the most polyhedronal section of Fratelli Tutti, the most D&D section, if you will, is section 215, where half of all of his references to a polyhedron come in. And you'll see what I mean when I say it's a very role-playing game D&D encyclical. In section 215, the Pope says, "Life, for all its confrontations, is the art of encounter." I mean, nothing could be clearer on that. They're speaking about role-playing games in, D&D. And, that's encounters. That's what the game is. "I have frequently called for the growth of a culture of encounter capable of transcending our differences and divisions. This means working to create a many-faceted polyhedron whose different sides form a variegated unity in which the whole is greater than the part," right? So what's the image when he thinks of, what's a good society? Is he thinks of dice, because, in a good role-playing group is a society that's very good, and so his mind goes to the dice that you use. "The image of a polyhedron can represent a society where differences coexist, complementing, enriching, and reciprocally illuminating one another, even amid disagreements and reservations." Again, that is a role-playing group. I think it's pretty clear. "Each of us can learn something from others. No one is useless and no one is expendable," right? Good thing to keep in mind. I think that's very good in our role-playing games. Sometimes, in your group, it seems like, this character's not that important. He could die. I can make another one. But nobody's expendable, he's saying. "This also means finding ways to include those on the peripheries of life." Right? So in every role-playing group, there's somebody who wants to be part of the group, but also, isn't that into it. We need to find ways to include them. I think that this could come right out of the Dungeon Master's Guide. "For they have another way of looking at things. They see aspects of reality that are invisible to the centers of power where weighty decisions are made," right? So we need to include everybody in our role-playing group. And I just think this is a really cool encyclical that it even talks about, stuff like D&D.